saw, the big sightseeing places, the Statue of Liberty. We went to the Empire State Building. My wife wanted to go check out Tiffany's. Got to go get that Tiffany experience for the ladies. My wife loved that place. I wanted to go see Alice Island because my great grandparents came in from Sicily, and I would have liked to have gone there because if I'm not mistaken, I believe a lot of the Italians back in the day, they signed in over there. There's like maybe there's a registry or something for people that came in from when they first came in back in the early 1900s.
Yeah,
I don't know, but we didn't get a chance to go see that. But next time,
I
we were
lived
there when the blizzard hit.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, it's funny. I said I lived in Staten Island, so I was right next to the Statue of Liberty. I've never been there. It's really funny.
Wow. We didn't go up it. We just walked around it on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing. I mean, you're taking the ferry over to it, and it's just so beautiful. It's incredible. I can imagine what they were thinking in the early 1900s when they were coming over and they saw it. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. It's something pretty amazing. You got to see it. But the city of New York was pretty cool. It was different. I'm from San Diego, so it's a lot different than the West Coast versus the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
But the food was good. The people were cool. It's just a different atmosphere. A lot of touristy. I mean, there are a lot of people that looked like Americans there, but they were from Russia or Italy or, Sweden or wherever they were from, but they were all speaking different languages. Such a diverse community of people there. It was really neat.
Yeah, I grew up in Jersey. I lived my whole life in Jersey. But I lived right by there. Where I lived was where a ferry used to be in the early 1900s that used to go from Jersey to New York. Familiarity, you don't know the area, but there's a place called Perth Amboy, which is, just a regular another Jersey Shore community. It's kind of, it used to be booming in the Industrial Revolution, but then everything there went kind of downhill, and it ended up being really poor. So anyway, they stopped using that ferry, but from where that ferry and the boardwalk is over there, you could throw a rock at whatchamacallit, Statue of Liberty, really. It looked
yeah.
Good. And then I moved to New York, and Staten Island's boring. They call it the New York Resort. And I used to take a ferry all the time, almost on a daily basis, take the ferry from Staten Island to New York City, to Manhattan. And yeah, like I said, going by the Statue of Liberty day in, day out, back and forth, back and forth.
Right.
And Staten Island is really, I used to walk from Staten Island to Jersey City.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a little bridge, so I didn't mind. But again, it's one of those things, I guess when you live here, you take it for granted because it's always.
Yeah, right.
So that's one big thing is like cultural diversity, like you were talking about.
Right.
In New York, I love that more than anything in the world. The people I would meet on that ferry, oh my God, it was awesome. It was really, really cool to meet so many cool people there.
Yeah. It makes you really appreciate a lot that, the life has to offer, you know what I mean? In different parts of San Diego's pretty diverse. Everybody comes here to California, you know what I mean, to experience the warm weather, the oceans and stuff like that. And everything we have here, it's a really neat city. I'm privileged to be in San Diego. It's one of the best cities in the country, if not around the world, and you get so much influx of different people come here. But when I went to New York, it kind of felt like home for me. You know what I mean? Because my grandmother was born in Detroit. My grandfather was born here in San Diego. When my great-grandparents came to America, they went into Alice Island, and then they came over to San Francisco, and then they came down to San Diego. And my grandfather was born here. And so my grandmother lived a lot of her life in Detroit. But, my first time going to the East Coast, I went to Boston. My wife was there on business. Mm-hmm. So me and the kids flew out to meet her there. Oh man, Boston was really, really cool. It was,
Gorgeous.
yeah, it's a neat town, man. You know, it's just a really neat place to go. I've always wanted to visit the East Coast, and I'm finally glad I got to see New York City because the lights and everything that were down there, you know, just down there in the heart of the city. You see
Yeah.
it's like being in Vegas, kind of like, but it was just really, really cool. So I enjoyed it. It's something special about that city. I want to go back. I told my wife, I said, we need to go back when it's not snowing.
Yeah. It's I mean, if you love history, I love history. I'm fascinated with it, but it is it is where everybody from this country, no matter where you're from, it's where everybody came from.
Yep,
Everybody came from to New York first. You
yep.
know, our ancestry and stuff, and the history that goes along with that is so amazing. It's really really cool. Like I love my favorite landmarks that are in Manhattan are not the big, like, I mean, I've been to all of them, but like Empire State Building, World Trade Center, and all that.
Yep.
But the old ones, like Grand Central Station,
Mhm.
I love, you know, the Chrysler Building is probably one of my favorite buildings in all of Manhattan. And it's not as big as the others, but the whole thing is made out of steel. I mean, the interior, the decoration, all that, I love it.
You know, I don't think we saw. We may have seen it, but we didn't really pay attention to it. But I got to tell you, the memorial was really special for me. We looked at the new tower that was built, and you get down there, man. You see the waterfall that's down there where that other building used to be,
Hmm.
and all the names are written on it in the marble there.
Yeah.
It was, you know, you look up and you're saying to yourself, God, 2001. I was watching this on TV go down,
Hmm.
and it's just amazing how beautiful they did just an amazing job on that single building, putting that back up.
Yeah.
And it's just you're sitting there going, man, this is where this all happened. Like, it's hard to, it's so surreal. It's unbelievable. You get that feeling. My wife was just in awe, just kind of looking at everything. We were trying, you know, telling the kids, hey, look, this is where it happened. And you know, my son just turned 18 this month, and my daughter's 14. So it's like they're old enough to really see it and appreciate it. But you know, back when 2001 hit, when 9/11 hit, my son was like a year old. My
Yeah.
daughter wasn't even born yet.
Hmm.
So finally go to these places and get to and just bring that in. You know, it's an experience and a privilege. You know, so
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. My wife loved the park too. That one park that's famous. It's on all
Central
the
Park,
movies and everything like that.
Central Park
Yeah, Central Park. Yeah,
is
Central.
huge. It's, I mean,
Yeah,
Central
it
Park is,
was full of snow.
yeah. No, enjoy
What's
that. Yeah,
that? Yeah.
come by any other time during the year because it's beautiful. It's huge. Um,
Oh yeah.
Central Park takes up more of Manhattan Island than the rest of New York, like the buildings and everything else. It's
Yep.
enormous.
I got to tell you that you know, I thought our skyline was pretty nice here in San Diego. When you're out in the water, you see the skyline of downtown.
Yeah.
But when we were on the ferry or we were over by Statue of Liberty, we looked at the skyline of New York City, and it was like bitching. I mean, it was so cool. The buildings just, I don't know, man. It's like art. You know, I mean, how those people built those buildings up, man. It looks really cool. So, yeah, I'm excited. I feel like I want to go like tomorrow, go back and really get the experience. One of the things I really wanted to go there for was the food, and we didn't really experience. We ate obviously the whole time we were there, but we didn't really get to go to any of like the traditional. Did we go to Little Italy? I don't even think we. I think we were down by there, but we wanted to go to all the places in that town and try all the foods. And that's one of the things we never really got a chance to do. We had some New York pizza, but the people that were running the restaurant, the pizza was amazing. But the people that run the restaurant, they weren't Italian; they were Middle Eastern. Um, and but it was still good regardless. The recipe they were using. But I want to go to a real traditional Italian, you know, restaurant in New York. I've always wanted to do that just to see, you know, how different it is. You know.
Yeah. Um, a little cool thing you could do, and it's only like it's $2. Is that Staten Island ferry I was talking about? Not
Yep.
not the one that goes to Statue of Liberty, but it's like $2 a person. It's really cheap. but you can really, it's a nice slow ride. You can go back and forth for the same price. It's on the same card, ticket or whatever, and you really can soak it up and enjoy it. And as soon as you get off the ferry in Manhattan, there's pizzerias right there, like right there, that you can go to that are phenomenal. And I mean, you're close by, especially the south side of Manhattan. Going to Chinatown, and
Yeah.
like you were saying, like,
Yeah, I would have
North
loved to
Manhattan,
do that.
it's really cool. We do a little
I'll reach
shopping
out
as
to
well.
you. I'll reach out to you next time we go. But I'm glad I'm really glad I found you and found the group because I have a group here in San Diego that I belong to. It's called the Gray Matters. Gray Matters for You um, is I think it's the book that the leader of the group has written,
I think
and
I know who it is.
so are now when this thing starts up today, are we going to talk about brain injuries in general and talk?
Yeah.
Everybody's going to tell a story, or how does that all work out?
We have a topic we're going over tonight. That was part of the invite that I had sent out. Um,
Okay.
and but like I said, when we first start off, like right now, there's me, you, Susan's on, Aaron's muted, and Deb's on. And Deb is in. Where you at, Debbie? You're in North Carolina,
No, I'm in Virginia.
Virginia. Same thing. I'm always teasing that. Like we all know each other. Susan and I are both from Jersey, um, and Aaron's in Canada. So, but we have a topic tonight. The topic of the night tonight is it's crying poor me, and it's not
Yeah.
about us crying poor me, but other people that are not brain injured, like our family members or old
Right.
friends, things like that, that are like, oh, get over yourself type thing, and they accuse you of crying poor me,
Mhm.
and they need to open their eyes and get involved, and that's why I'm hoping we get more family members and caregivers in on this call tonight, so we can honestly between us, like you put them in their place and let them open their eyes and say, no, 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 no. This is circumstances. This is what happens after a brain injury,
Yeah.
and try to educate them about stuff. So
Now, you obviously everybody on the line has had a brain injury. Tell me a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind, so I can
yeah.
get to know you a little bit better about what happened with you and everything.
In 2003, October 12th, 2003, I was helping a friend of mine drive back from Atlantic City, and he was falling asleep driving, and I told him to let me drive, and I dozed off. And
Oh
he hit a
no.
tree. He broke his leg, and I fractured my ankles, my wrists, my ribs, and my skull.
Oh
I was in a
wow.
coma. I was in a coma for like 3.5 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow, man.
yeah. It was
Did,
good. I mean, I recovered fast. I was out of the hospital in 6 weeks. And I was supposed to be there over 2 years. So I was good.
really?
Yeah, I
Two
was
years?
good.
You were supposed to be there for 2 years?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you
So
have a lot of surgical procedures?
no, they
Wow.
closed up.
Okay.
They closed up the hole in my head.
Yeah.
And, luckily, I didn't have a lot of scar tissue or any fragments from the car accident or anything that in my brain. So, I mean, I had to do cognitive therapy, speech therapy, the normal,
Yep. Right.
OT and PT and stuff.
Did
And
you have to learn how to talk again, Michael?
yeah, yeah.
Do you have any? I wanted to ask you, do you have any symptoms now that you deal with daily?
What I deal with now, especially when I'm tired, well, specifically is when I'm tired, is coming up with sometimes with the words I'm trying to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay, or I just try. I mean, it took a lot of discipline, especially when I was in college, because I went to college after the brain injury, and I knew what I wanted to say, but I couldn't come up with the words the way I wanted to put it. So it took a lot of discipline
Yeah.
and finding alternative ways to come across and say the things I wanted to say. That was a big one, and it was very helpful. And um, yeah, when I'm tired, yeah, that's probably the biggest one. I'll have like, we joke around about brain farts, and you're like,
Right.
how do I put this? That kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
And I do it, and I write it down. Writing and reading is the best way to kind of stimulate your brain and more education. Sometimes you got to relearn things.
And repetition.
Yeah, and writing down is one of those things that is something I need to be doing. My wife gives me a hard time about stuff all the time. I tell her, look, I go, I'm not going to remember this. So, and she's like, well, you need to write it down. I'm like, because I think that I'll remember it, but I know I won't. But, I don't think I'm too far off from anybody that's never had a brain injury. I think also with playing a big part, a biggest challenge for us nowadays, people who have had a brain injury is age.
Yeah.
When age starts kicking in as well, you're fighting that too. So
multitasking can be hard.
Yeah,
go ahead, Mike.
Yes. Oh no. Yeah, I was good. No, I was good. I had my brain injury in 1986, October 2nd, around the same month you had yours. But I was a kid when I had mine. I was in high school. I was playing football. Mm-hmm. And so I had a football injury, and I took a bad blow to the chin. Special teams game was close to being over. Had about 8 minutes left in the game. We were winning. I ran down the field real hard like I always did, and somebody came up underneath me with a helmet, took me out. Came up with their helmet. I never hit the ground, but when I got hit, my head felt like it was about to explode. I knew something was wrong. Ran to the sidelines. Long story short, started losing feeling in the left side of my body. They got me to the hospital. I can give you the whole story, but obviously it's going to take a while. So, I'll give you the short end of it. Took me to the hospital. Took me in for a CAT scan, saw that I was hemorrhaging, and they got my mom there at the hospital finally. And, had to go in I was in surgery, my first surgery, to stop the bleeding. I was in for 6 hours. So, and I wasn't supposed to make it through that first surgery. So that was pretty hard because, at the time you're 15 years old, you're a kid, but you're thinking future. And, when I got hurt, I knew something was wrong. So I was messed up, slurred speech, the whole 9 yards when you have a hemorrhage, Went in, had the surgery, and I was in and out of surgeries. My first month in the hospital my first couple weeks in the hospital, I probably had about 9 surgeries. Wow. I had half a dozen on my head. I got a cut here, a bunch back here. I had a trach. The medicine they were giving me paralyzed my vocal cords, so they had to go in and do a tracheotomy so I can breathe. And I had an abdominal surgery because I had a shunt in my head, which the spinal fluid infected my stomach. So that was the worst part of everything that I had while I was in there was the trach because I couldn't talk.
Yeah. I had that too. I have
that sucked. That was the worst out of everything that was bothering me. Everything that was killing me, man. It was the trach because I couldn't talk. So and then I couldn't eat, for a while. And so yeah, the first 3 weeks I was there was pretty major. Well, I'd say the first 2 weeks, and I was in and out of rooms. So just from that one hit, so I ended up with about a dozen surgeries from that one hit. Wow. I was a sophomore in high school. After I recovered from that, I did my next month, November. I spent the month of November in rehab. So I recovered, had to relearn how to walk. All my muscle was gone. Mm-hmm. I was skinny as a rail, lost 32 pounds. I was like 154 pounds in high school, but I was down to 122 pounds. I was a skeleton.
Yeah.
Got my weight back up, started getting my strength back. I recovered fast. The good thing about being young and having an injury like that is you recover quick. Yeah. So then I came back to school, went back to high school, got recovered after about 2 months, went back to high school, and then February Valentine's Day of 87, had to go back in for 2 more stomach surgeries because of scar tissue. I was out another couple weeks, lost some more weight, but I was determined. And then I went through the rest of high school struggling. School was tough. And then I graduated high school, the following Monday after graduation, I had an elective surgery to repair the hole they had left back there from the pressure.
Yeah.
So I had a plate put in after I graduated. Was in the hospital 3 days and came home. And after a couple days after that, I was back in the gym working out every day.
Exercise is huge. That's beautiful, though. That's good. What year did you graduate high school?
89.
Okay, and I graduated in 90. I'm putting it
Okay.
together, and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
I graduated 88, but I was supposed to graduate in 89, but I didn't like school, so I graduated early.
Oh, cool.
I couldn't stand it.
We're all about the same. We're all about the same age then.
Yep.
We're all in a pretty close age range, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be 47 in May.
Yeah, I
I'm
just turned
46.
45.
Michael's 45.
I turned 45 in December. So. What's up, Susan?
Susan.
Susan's in Jersey. Henry lives back in Staten Island. Mike, this is funny because me, Susan, and Henry all met in Jersey 15 years ago.
Okay.
Or almost 15 years ago. Anyway, I moved to Staten Island. Henry lived in Staten Island. Then I moved to Jersey. He moved to Jersey. And then when I moved to Pennsylvania, he went back to Staten Island. He said, all right, enough. I'm leaving. And me and Susan lives close by. She's close by here too, by me. She's in Jersey, but it's 2-3 highways, and I could be at her house as well. That ring you got on your finger looks like a Super Bowl ring, Mike. I got to tell you that.
Oh, so there's a cool story behind this. So about a year ago, I wrote a book, but I haven't published it yet because it needs a lot of work still. I'm not a writer. And I have my 30-year anniversary, a year and a half ago. So what was that, 2016?
Yeah.
And I wanted to do something to commemorate the 30 years since I was never going to get a Super Bowl ring or a championship ring. I went to Jostens, the ones that do the class rings. I have one here in town where I live.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, look, I want to do this ring custom. So they gave me a book, and it's actually modeled after a basketball Hall of Fame ring.
Mm-hmm.
And the centerpiece right there is a lion. And on the side, I have a lion etched on the side. That's my website right there. And you can't really see it, but it says ASBISG.org.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a website that it's not really active anymore, but you still pull it up. And there's a video of me and my best friend, and I'm wearing my football jersey from the one I got hurt in. And we're down the football field at the opposing high school that I played at, which was completely redone. And so if you go to ISurvived.com, you'll see me and my buddy standing there, and you click on the video and listen to the video. And I had this ring custom made, and I told my wife, I said, listen, I mean, it's been over 30 years since I survived this injury. I'm getting something that commemorates that. I'm going to wear it when I can. I don't like to wear it to work because it's big, and I use my hands a lot. I don't want to scratch it all up. So it took quite a bit. It took quite a while for me to get it made and everything. So once I got it all taken care of, the girl that presented to me, one of the workers of there at Jostens, she was pretty stoked by it. She said, "Man, the ring turned out beautiful. It was better than I thought it would turn out." So yeah, it was a little gift for myself, for surviving 31 and a half years.
That's awesome. No, that's really cool. Wow. Very, very cool. Who else we got? Henry, you there? You listening?
Yeah, my lighting is terrible again. So that's why I don't have the video on.
Okay. I know Deb always hides. So
That's me.
we had a lot of people that said they were gonna make it. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed because there was 16 people interested on the call. So I'm hoping that somebody joins in with us. Let me see if I can message him real quick. Mike. Yeah, I see that on your profile picture is a lion as well.
Yeah, that's a cool little story too. My grandparents, my mother's maiden name was Corleone.
Mm-hmm.
It's in that which means the heart of the lion.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's
really
kind of why I went with the family crest. It's our family crest. So I had the lion head that I have on the shield there on the ring. I had it custom made by a guy I met. A buddy of mine put me in touch with this graphic designer who also did you'll see on my website, the lion head and the shield is on there too. So I had that custom done, and but never made the website anything other than, more of an informational type thing. So it needs to be redone. It's way outdated.
You're entitled.
So are you working right now, Michael?
Oh, my wife's joining in. Very cool. Yeah, I have, you see our website behind me. I'm at our office now. I work part-time with a gentleman. His name is David. He has Down syndrome. And I work, it's called, I want to see behavioral. See, here's the brain parts. Behavioral occupational. No, I gotta look at. Give me a second. I'll look at Facebook and I'll tell you what my title is. I'm trying to invite people at the same time. There we go. Hi, Anna. Let me see. My wife is on. Is she muted? What's she? Oh, I can barely hear you. Debilitation technician. That's my job title. I help him live and enjoy life, and he's very high functioning, but he's got his deficits, but he's doing all right. I just help him get along day to day, making the right decisions and managing numbers. He's not very good with numbers, so I help him out there all the time.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's fun. I get paid to have a good time with him, so it's cool.
That sounds like something I need to be doing.
Yeah.
Did you buy the Jeep, Michael?
Oh, I'm still waiting on some financial stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Take care of, but it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Anna, I tried calling you, but I didn't get through. I didn't know what you were up to. I wanted to thank you because I ate the dinner that you made me last night and I couldn't eat. It was amazing.
You're welcome.
That was awesome. Oh, I couldn't stop eating it until it was completely empty.
What was it? Spaghetti?
Anna, give a description of what it was you made.
It was just beef stew and biscuits.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that sounds yummy.
Oh, that was so good.
The lighting's better now. Okay.
Yeah, you too, me.
Henry.
Hi, guys. I fixed the light. Now it's okay.
Hey, Henry.
Hey, guy.
I'm trying to.
Michael.
How you doing, Susan?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm just getting over being sick, so if I'm quiet, I'm quiet.
You have the flu?
I don't know what I got. It's sinusitis.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Let me see who that is. Oh, that's Jen. Yeah, come to
that.
Jenny just joined us in. Yeah, I went to the doctor's today and I found out that it's the same thing. It's my sinuses that's causing a pain going all the way up my ear and stuff. And he says that I don't have any bacterial infections or anything, but yeah, it's the sinuses that's killing I have really sharp pains here. So,
That's
yeah.
what are they
it's
doing
worst.
for it?
You should look at a video, Michael, where you can do a massage on right there, and it helps clear it out.
Okie doke.
Michael, you do it right now.
Sorry. You station teacher.
Vitamin C is always the trick. Vitamin C always clears everything.
Oh yeah, vitamin C is good too. I just heard that. I think it was a little boy. He died from a sinus infection. Couldn't believe it. It went to his brain.
Did you guys see that the news that what's her name from Baywatch? What's her name?
Yasmin?
No, married to Tommy Lee.
Oh, Pamela.
Pamela Anderson.
Yeah, she died today.
No
What?
kidding.
Hey.
Yeah, it's official. I was just reading about it. And you know what it was from?
What?
Like pneumonia or that's it. She couldn't.
Really?
She had hepatitis C, and then she went to the doctors or the hospital about that, and she died this afternoon from complications due to pneumonia. Her body couldn't take.
It's
She went into cardiac arrest.
my cousin's mother about 3 weeks ago or more went to the wasn't feeling good. So she went to the hospital and they found out that she had the flu. Next day she died.
Yeah, it's that bad. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, because the flu is killing people.
Yeah, it's the body can't handle it, and it's so.
No, can't.
Yeah, there was no. I wasn't. That's what I said. I'm not joking. It's really here. You know, it hit us. You know. So yeah. Anyway, for me, the doctor said it was just a postnasal drip, and you know,
Right.
it causes so much mucus and everything else that's what ends up causing the inflammation and stuff. So.
Have you tried olive oil in your ear?
No, I had eardrops. Me and Anna had tried that, and it's not an infection outside or anything
get
to
it.
cause that. It's all here. It all goes to your neck.
Yeah.
So it stems from my throat. So I just sent out 6 invites to the people because there was 14 people that said that there were actually 19 people that said they were going to make the call. And
I don't know how that goes.
yeah, so I'm waiting to hear back from them now. Well, some of them are people that are pretty reputable. So, like Carissa, she gets involved in just about everything we do. Still trying to figure out how to get to the show. It's so frustrating. Use this link. That's funny. Michelle Sanford. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Carissa, I told you she'd be on first. See, Mike, this is why I said we wait until we get other people on because you never know. And I don't like to go over the whole conversation all over again. So we just get the ball rolling. You know, everybody can introduce each other and hang, you know, talk a little bit. We're starting a little bit later than normal, but it's cool. As long as we're all on the same page together. That's the important part. Adam's on. Look at this. Beautiful. That worked.
So you, so you were trapped in.
I'm sorry, Mike.
No. So traffic last time we were supposed to have the meeting and it got canceled because you were stuck or something.
Oh yeah, we had a bad. It was.
There's snow.
In my car from 4:30 in the afternoon to 11:30 the next morning with my dog.
Anna wasn't with you?
The next morning.
Work.
Oh my goodness. Did you sleep in the car?
Oh yeah.
What did you do? You just stopped it? I mean, you turned
I
it
had
off?
no choice. Look, people don't know how to drive in the snow.
But how did you not freeze? Did you have a blanket?
I heat the car.
Oh, I thought you had it turned off.
How's things, guys?
Hi, Adam. How are you? Thank you for joining me.
Doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm good.
That's the way. Yeah, well, it's currently just around about 11 a.m. in Melbourne, Australia at the moment. So, yeah,
Beautiful.
it's all good. Sitting outside, having my morning cup of coffee. It's good fun.
I'm having my evening cup of coffee.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is
So
it
what-
Saturday there?
It is Saturday, yes. Saturday morning. So yeah, it's I'm just sitting outside watching my TV outside. Oh my God! And Charmed has just come on the TV. Do you guys remember that TV show Charmed when there was a bunch of witches?
Yep.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, so that's just come on the TV. So I'm changing that. God. It's kind of handy having a TV sitting outside others.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so I can sit outside and kick back, watch TV. That's pretty handy. Yeah. So what's going on with everybody?
Same thing. Over and over, same.
Same thing?
Yep.
Yeah. I hear that.
We have a nice important topic that we're talking about tonight. And,
Yep.
well, tonight, this morning for you anyway.
Yep.
But
Doing something right now.
this is something that I'm going to ask all you guys because I know I've gone through it, and people have brought this up and asked me to make this a topic for the radio show. Is
Right.
have you been accused of crying poor you, poor me, since your brain injury?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Well, I'm unfortunate because I had my brain aneurysm when I was 11 years old. So I've been living with the disability and everything for over 30 plus years. So I'm sort of it's been a pain in the butt really, but still suffering with dystonia is probably my biggest issue.
Yeah.
Because dystonia, it just never relents. It's always there, and the muscle spasticity sucks. So that's for sure.
Well, it's interesting because there's 10 of us on the call, and three of you all had your brain injuries fairly young.
Yeah.
So I think that because you were how old? You said
I was 11.
And Michael, you were how old? 14,
15.
15 years old. And
Yeah.
Susan had hers just under 3 years old.
No, there you go. Yeah.
It's kind of interesting that the three of you have all had these like having time to deal with it. Let's move forward. You know.
Yeah.
And, Michael was just explaining to me his story through high school and everything else. And Susan's overcome the odds from birth, really, almost.
Yeah.
So it's done wonderful for herself as well.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Life throws some lemons after a brain injury, that's for sure. So.
Oh yeah.
Mhm. So yeah, that's always a painful thing. I'm actually at the moment trying to organize a website. I'm wondering if any of you guys are into WordPress at all, or you know anything about WordPress.
I thought about it when I built the website for our organization,
Yep.
but I found it too time consuming.
Oh, it's
So I
so
ended
hard.
up going through Wix, which is another free website development place, and you can customize it. And I have an IT background.
Yeah.
I did that for 25 years. So I just winged it, and I was like doing it that way. But let's see what I can do with you, Adam. We could talk outside of here. And
If you could maybe jump on my website and have a look at it. I'm trying to figure out how to do a landing page, which is just so confusing. I'm absolutely totally beyond me.
Okay.
So, yeah. Just for something whereby I can book events and, do motivational speaking, actually get my name out there to people and organizations. So,
All right, I
yeah.
have some ideas. We'll go over it over the next couple of days. We'll go over it together. I'll try to help you out.
Yeah, fantastic. That would be great.
Carissa,
Yes.
is your son there?
Hi, guys.
Is that your son playing?
Yeah, he's playing with a toy.
All right, I'm gonna mute you because everybody hears it over the talking. So,
Yeah, he can hear you.
okay.
Hey, Noah. Take that out, please. Okay? Mom, can I talk? Can you talk?
He wants to join us.
What's
Hi,
his
Barbara.
name?
Hi, Barbara. Thank
Michael.
you for joining us.
Hi. Hi.
This is cool, this Zoom thing. I've never done this Zoom thing before. This is rad.
Pretty neat.
It's
Isn't
very cool. There's things
Yeah,
that
it is cool.
here. There's conference calls and radio shows that we do where I do online presentations. I could share my screen with you guys, and here I'll show you just a quick glimpse. So when I have something I want to go over, you could see what I'm doing. Things like
that was on vacation.
Now that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a bit. We used to do Skype years ago when me and Henry and Susan and Anna used to do this. We
Yeah.
used to do Skype, but the limitations on there this huge in comparison.
Yeah, well, I use Skype, but I've got no idea how to do any of this Zoom stuff. So, yeah, I'd love to learn that too.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
That's right.
Thank you. On Tuesdays at 4:00 New York time, we do an international open mic presentation. Then at 8 p.m., same time as now, on Tuesdays, we do the same thing like we're doing here, but it's open mic. You can talk about just about anything. Thursdays we do conference calls for caregivers, like support calls for caregivers on Thursday nights, and then the first and third Friday of every month we do this, which are on topic radio shows.
Because is that with what's that lady's name? Because God, my memory's so shot. What was I'm just trying to think of the lady's name that she does the brain network.
Brain Injury Radio Network.
Brain Injury Network. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I used to be a host and a board member there.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, because, what's the fella's name from, where does he live? I don't know, Mississippi or something like that.
There's a lot of hosts.
Yeah.
Radio shows, yeah. Craig, he's in Seattle. He's in Washington State. He's the one who started that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Do you hear all that background noise?
Yeah, I'm trying to eliminate where it's coming from, but I think we're okay now.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. Okay, let's see if we hear it now.
Now it's just going to a phone on my phone.
Yeah, I got it taken care of now.
Okay.
You're back.
They're back.
You're back.
Let's share the conversation of the topic that we're having tonight and tell each other about the stories that we've had. And unfortunately, the only caregivers that we have really on the call tonight are my wife and I. But yeah, as you guys know, I'm a survivor as well. But
I can get my son involved. My son, he's pretty much my biggest caregiver.
Well, the thing is I want us to share our stories about what I described as a topic tonight of people saying, okay, get over yourself. You know, everything I got to hear, all I hear about from you is about your brain injury. And that's what this is. Are you accused of crying for me when you're having trouble coming up with the words, or you're having trouble multitasking, or stressful situations that you're in? You need help handling. Just let me concentrate on one thing at a time. Because I think that happens to just about all of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And we here in Australia have just rolling out a NDIS program, which is National Disability Insurance Scheme.
Yeah.
And that's now going to be basically, I'm actually working with people with acquired brain injuries. That's my job.
Mm-hmm.
And I deal with guys that are car accident victims, all sorts of different ABIs, not just stroke and aneurysms. So yeah, it's pretty interesting what I do for a living. So, and every day's different.
Yeah. Who did we just lose? We just lost somebody.
Barbara.
Oh, Barbara. Okay.
Lost picture there. Now there you
Yes,
Yeah, I went through that, especially now. I think my family's finally got the gist of like, I tell them get over yourself, but
Yeah.
that first 5 years after I had my brain injury from a car accident, so it was a traumatic brain injury. I heard things like, "Oh, Mike's just looking for attention." Enough talk about this brain injury stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm not looking for attention. You know, I'm accepting the fact of who I am. Why don't you guys accept the fact of who I am now? Stop living in the past and accept me for who I am now. And that's a big one. And like we were just talking about before, me and Michael were talking about, is when you are tired, and life happens. We all get tired. We work, we do things, you get sick, and it's exhausting, but it has a different impact on us than it does for people without brain injuries.
Yep.
And another factor there is the amount of rest that you get.
Yeah.
It's something that people don't understand after a brain injury. You know, the amount of rest you get is so beneficial and so important. So you need understanding. And that's why I'm hoping this call is being recorded. And I want to put this on our website and share it on Facebook and things like that, so they can see, and people with brain injuries and people without brain injuries can understand, or need to understand, that there needs to be two things. One, more communication. Two is more understanding.
Well, acceptance, I find, more acceptance of, it takes a little bit longer for me to get things through, in my head than, let's say the guy that's sitting in a desk next to me, and the fact that they can go, 10 times faster than what I do, it makes it hard to, keep confidence and that sort of thing as well. So
yeah, the impact
it becomes frustrating.
Yep.
Because for 20 years, I'm still at it with people. Yeah. People in the family are still like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Why can't you keep up? I can't. And I don't try, but then it becomes frustrating.
Yeah.
I think
I'm on point with what Adam said. If I can give you guys an example that I came up with to share with people who don't have a brain injury, I came up with this not too long ago, and when I tried to explain to people, they kind of went, "Oh." So there's a difference between somebody who thinks on a normal or higher level than somebody who's had a brain injury. Picture this for a moment. a normal functioning brain or a high functioning brain, picture 10 doors. And a normal person, I don't know if I'm putting it in the right context, but let's say a person without a brain injury, okay, has one key for those 10 doors. They can run up to that door, turn that key, boom, 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 go
Right.
through those 10 doors like no big deal. Person with a brain injury has a key ring with 10 keys. You're running up to each door, fumbling through that key ring to try to unlock that door. And then you go to the next door. You're fumbling through that key ring to unlock that door. It takes you 10 times longer or 9 times or 10 times longer to open up all those doors than it does for somebody who thinks on a higher level because they haven't had a brain injury.
And that's where I find it difficult with my employers and stuff like that. They just don't get it. And like, fuck, man, I work in disability. You know, you'd think that the people that I work with would have a bit more understanding of, you know, acquired brain injury or whatever. But no, it's like, you know, if I do my job, man, they said, I'm gone. I'm history. They will sack me as quick as, you know, I'm gone. Crazy.
I found over years that people that don't have a brain injury don't get it.
Can't get it because we look normal. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look
Surface.
normal. And can't see it, so it's, you know, my family definitely doesn't understand because I can talk. I'm talking and I look normal, and but they do not get my need. They didn't understand it as much as I wanted them to understand, and I explained it to them no matter what. You don't have a brain injury, you just don't get it. But there needs to be a lot of patience and listening to the person who has a brain injury of what their needs are, because it's very important to listen.
But in the world, people don't seem to really give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, people don't care. It's, you know, it's dog eat dog. You know, they don't.
Yeah.
It's so easy to hire another person.
Yeah.
It's a me world.
It's
now.
true.
Everything is me, I.
Yeah.
I try to explain to people that, you know, every year the Susan G. Komen, the breast cancer awareness, you know, thing comes up, and everybody donates money, and everybody goes on the walks, and I think it's an amazing thing, right? But you know, every March we have a brain injury awareness walk, and they had one here in San Diego. I never get to attend for some reason or another. I'm probably working or something, but my dream and my goal would be to work with a brain injury foundation, and I'm hoping when I retire from the industry that I'm in that I can probably do it full time, is to make brain injury awareness just as big as breast cancer awareness, because people are having brain injuries every day. You know, people are dying from brain injuries.
Yeah.
And I mean, not to take anything away from cancer patients or breast cancer survivors right there. I think it's awesome. But people are having brain injuries every day, and there's really not enough. I feel like there's not enough support for brain injury survivors than there are for.
I want to bring up a topic. Maybe we should have a brain injury radio show about this. Speaking of that, Mike, there is support services and fundraising for breast cancer and things like that, and that's wonderful. And I understand the same thing you said.
Right.
But okay, the cancer support and fundraising for cancer to help cure cancer is for people who have died. Brain injury fundraising for people who are alive.
Yeah, people that are living every day with the
and how many people are lost loved ones. But what about the people that are living with a brain injury?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Numbers are bigger than those cancer survivors.
Absolutely.
Brain injury is huge, just in America alone. And try to finding funding, and I'm telling you, as having a nonprofit organization, fundraising is so difficult to just get the word out, and doing support services, advocacy, and brain injury education. It's never enough. And when you're asking for funds to help each other out, it's little to nothing, to be honest.
Yeah. That's it. And that's what I find extremely frustrating, because I see every month there's something to do with, breast cancer awareness, there's, whatever, but there's never anything to do with ABI or, whatever. It's crazy. Like, I go out, I do a lot of motivational speaking for the Stroke Foundation in Australia. And, I speak in front of, corporations and, businesses and stuff like that. And I try and get their awareness and try and get funding and stuff for acquired brain injury. But it still just all falls on deaf ears. It just doesn't.
Sadly.
Yes.
It's really frustrating.
Unfortunately, a lot of the people that do want to donate are brain injured already and can't afford to.
Right.
Yeah. That's true.
That's very difficult. I mean, that's the biggest complaint I get is people on Facebook going, stop asking me for donations. I'm like, I'm not. If you can't make a donation, you could spread the word so other people might be able to. I understand being on a fixed income, and I understand having financial struggles, but you could spread the word.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they get offended. Don't ask me for money. Stop asking me for money. I said, I'm not asking you for your money. I'm asking you to help each.
Yeah.
So
how many people know that this month is Brain Injury Awareness Month?
Exactly.
Not many people in Australia do.
Yeah.
So has anybody been able to get their family members to understand what they're going through, as far as like if you have a need and you try to explain it? Does anybody's family understand your brain injury?
Not my family don't seem to understand it. That's why I can't live with them. I've got my son right here. He's a guru when it comes to talking about brain injury stuff. Hang on one sec. He's just on his iPad. Hang on. Hey, Braden, come and start talking. These guys are brain injury survivors. Just jump off your iPad and come and talk and say what it's like to live with Dad that's had a brain injury. Take your earphone out. There. My son, Brad.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
Well, it's actually, some days I feel lucky, and some other days I'm just grateful. Some days it's just like he's never had one because he's so perfect. He's just the best.
That's a good kid right there.
You better be grateful.
That's great.
I love you to death, huh?
I love you too.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He knows what it's all about.
Yeah.
He's very, very super supportive.
Oh my God.
Sounds like very compassionate.
Yeah. He's going to become a advocate for acquired brain injury survival as well. So
nice. That's very good. Very good.
My boys are my biggest thing, My son Brandon was 3 years old when I had my brain injury, and my ex-wife was 2 weeks pregnant with Aiden at this time when I had my brain injury, and they've always been my inspiration and my push.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
That's exactly the same as me with him. That's what we do it for.
Cool.
This little dude here, he's good fun.
Sure.
Oh, that was so beautiful. That was so nice.
Yeah, that tugged at the heartstrings big time, man. Oh, come on.
Puppy!
That was a puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh!
Look how cute he is, huh?
Hey, bud.
What kind of things do you do to help your dad?
Oh, I help him. Remember stuff. I write some things down in his journal for. Oh my God! Oh my God! Are you okay? Do you want like a scuba diver helmet so you don't drown in the drool? Oh my goodness!
So what were you saying? You help your dad write things. You write things down for your dad.
Remember a lot of things, and we usually plan lots of things, like when we're up at Sometimes I do some tidying up.
Sometimes he does some tidying up. Yeah.
Oh, it was at the end, and I chose a mullet.
Oh, this is what Braden looked like. He had crazy hair day yesterday at school, and he wanted to show you what he looked like.
I
Here
grow
he
my
is.
hair really fast. It's a natural talent.
That's cute. I love that hair.
Very cute.
The mullet dude.
Nice glasses.
Yeah,
That's what's up.
pretty cool.
And we had to play tennis. We had my entire team. They all had like Coke bottles in their hair and oh my gosh. But it was the first game we ever won for the entire season.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
Yes.
yeah.
What kind of game was it again?
Tennis.
Tennis.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's like a mini tennis.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Well, can you just talk to them because I'm
Okay.
going to make a coffee, okay?
Okay.
And then I'll talk to them in a minute.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
I can.
How old are you?
I'm 12. I turned 12 on the 5th of March.
So are you
Oh, it's
in,
my son's birthday.
are-
My son's birthday. He turned 18. My son's birthday is the 5th.
Oh,
Turned
that's
18.
crazy.
Happy birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Happy birthday, buddy.
That's really cool. One of my friends' little sisters, they also have little sister whose birthday is on the 5th of March.
Oh,
Good
by
month.
the way, happy St. Patrick's Day to anybody that's Irish.
Oh yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day
Oh,
tomorrow.
that's tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We celebrated it last weekend. I didn't remember. I didn't know what day it was, and people do
It's
it.
St. Patrick's Day for us.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Yeah? Boy, the Irish?
Green beer.
No, but it's still one of the British colonies. You know.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, okay.
Yes. That's why I'm green on my game. I made myself green.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Here
Oh,
I
that's
am.
cool. I like that.
Check him out.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Fun.
Oh, Dad, you have low power.
Oh, that's okay.
And
All
yeah.
right, I'll put
All
it
right.
on charge. All right. So there you go. That's my little boy.
Oh, he's awesome.
Aww.
Adorable.
Yeah, he's my motivation and my inspiration. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
And he's very healthy. He communicates very well. You can tell he's
Yeah.
feels like
Well, yeah, he does. He's the captain of his debating team, as you could imagine. Yeah. So yeah, and he's pretty much like his dad. He can talk and talk and talk like what I do, especially when it comes to any motivational speaking. So there's that.
Mhm.
Now, are you guys all on my Facebook page?
I haven't seen him.
Okay. Oh, he does.
Does he live with you full time?
Yeah, he lives with me half 50-50. So yeah,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, it's pretty handy. So
Mhm.
yeah, that only cost me I don't know, $500,000 for that privilege when the divorce happened.
Oh, boy.
That's it. All good.
Now, I tell you, man, it's just a shame that the war is so expensive.
Oh yeah.
The war,
True
that used to be cheap. Now it's expensive. Now
Oh,
don't even pay to die.
Yeah.
Years
Right.
ago, pay to die. Now don't.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, that's pretty much all we're really doing at the moment. We've got a festival to go to this afternoon.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it's in a beautiful place called Warrandyte, and it's like a one pub town, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's not too far away from my house, so it's like a 10-minute drive down the road. So yeah, it's pretty cool. They've got heaps of rides and all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Y'all gonna have some cotton candy?
Awesome.
Cotton candy, yeah, we call it fairy floss.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, lucky I've been to America 100 times, so I know exactly what we're talking about here.
I like that fairy floss.
It's fairy floss in Australia. Come on.
We'll have to hook up with if
Oh,
we ever come
fairy
to
or
Australia.
Call it fairy floss.
Fairy floss is cotton candy, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, fairy floss. I thought you said ferret.
Yeah. It's very fairy. It's a fairy floss sort of a thing, yeah. Pretty funny. But yeah, I know America pretty well, so I've probably seen more of it. I definitely have seen more of America than I have of Australia. That's for sure.
Well, how long have you
Really?
lived in Australia?
Sorry?
How long have you lived in Australia?
I've lived in Australia my whole life, but I've travelled all over the state skiing because I coach disabled skiing in Australia.
Oh.
So
Nice.
I've skied most of the ski resorts in Colorado. I've skied all of Canada, all of.
You can come here and teach me how to ski. I live in the Poconos and I've never been skiing in my life.
Oh my
What?
goodness.
Disgrace. That is a disgrace. I love it. That's what I live to.
I live on Mount Pocono. I really live right on the mountain.
Is it hard to learn?
Mm-hmm.
It is hard.
I have my ski resort's like a 5-hour drive away, or 4.5-hour drive away from where I live. So that's a bit of a hassle.
Learning to ski is like learning to ice skate.
Yeah, a little bit different, I think, but yeah, it's sort of the same.
Yeah, but well, the skiing is a lot of your knees. But the ice skating is your ankles. So you really need balance.
You can't stop. What happens when you're going down a big hill and you can't stop?
Oh, I can always stop.
You shift your body. You shift your body to the way you're going down.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could either snow plow or just on sideways.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I coach guys in sit skis. So I coach guys that are quadriplegic, amputees, all those sort of things. Over the winter and also overseas. So yeah, it's great fun.
That sounds fun.
Wow.
Really cool. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Oh, where am I now? Oh,
You're in the
there I
corner.
am.
Hey, Adam.
Yeah, man.
Hey, what was your injury exactly?
I had a massive brain aneurysm and stroke at the age of 11.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
You seem to be doing great, man.
Oh, look, I've had my ups and downs. I've got a deep brain stimulator in my head that keeps me functioning or keeps my body moving.
Really?
So that's pretty cool. Yeah. I was the first person in Australia to get a DBS for stroke and aneurysm.
Wow.
They trialed it. It's really good for Parkinson's, so that's why they trialed it on me because I was sort of younger. So it's been really good for Parkinson's disease people.
Do they have to? Does it last forever, or do they have to?
They have to replace the battery every 10 years.
Okay.
I got like a battery, and I've got a wire that goes up my neck, up into my brain, And it's a funky operation, man, because they wake you up in the middle of them playing around with your brain.
Oh no.
Really? And it's really bizarre, yeah. And you're talking to them while they're in your brain, and you're like, holy shit. And I remember I was sitting
They want to see if it works.
Yeah. Well, that's what they do. They play around in your brain while you're in the theater getting the operation done. That's a bizarre. That was probably the most bizarre surgery I've ever had.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Do they know why you had a stroke at 11?
Just a aneurysm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, severe, massive.
Keep you awake so that they know what not to hit and what to hit.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah. It's really weird because you feel like while you're sort of semi-unconscious, or almost, it's really weird because they're like pulling wires in and out of your brain and all this stuff, and it's a bizarre feeling, really bizarre. I don't recommend it.
You feel them doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, like they're fully inside my brain, and I'm talking to them while they're doing it. That was really, really weird.
Oh my.
Yeah. So it's called a deep brain stimulator. If you want to have a look at that, it's called a deep brain stimulator. And that's what I've got in my head.
So it what stimulates your brain to do what it needs to do?
Yeah, it stimulates my left side because I suffered dystonia. It basically, this is what it's meant to do. It's supposed to stop the muscles from involuntary spasming.
Okay.
That's sort of, like I'm pretty good now. So yeah.
Do you have to take any medication or anything to help?
You want to see my Webster pack? Yeah. I've got tons of medication. It's it's crazy because I have to have Valium. I have to have anti-convulsive type medication as well. I've got you name it, I'm on it. It's nuts. I'll show you my Webster pack. Actually, you can check this shit out. This is nuts. This is how much medication.
Wow.
That's in the morning.
Yeah.
And then you can see that's at night. So there's a lot of tablets that crazy amount of medication, which I don't know why they keep just loading me up on more pills when all it really needs is I can go and smoke a joint and it does exactly the same thing as all those tablets.
There you go.
In this stupid, idiotic country that we call Australia, it's illegal to smoke marijuana. So, yes.
It's starting to get legal in a lot of states because they're finding that it helps a lot. Most people with any kind of injury.
Everything. It helps with anxiety. It helps with depression. It helps with, you name it. It helps with everything.
Speaking of symptoms, Michael, I don't know about you, but through my brain injury awareness group here in San Diego, my director, Heidi, the one I was telling you about earlier on, passed out a huge long list of symptoms that we as brain injury survivors have to, dealt with, and you get to pick out which emotions you had to deal with. And now I don't know what everybody else dealt with after their injuries, but I guess, and I wasn't diagnosed. I didn't go to a doctor. I was a teenager. but I dealt with a lot of depression.
Yeah.
Oh, every day. Every day.
Still do.
Yeah.
It never goes
you know,
away.
it's one of those things where, because you have that sense of loss.
Yeah.
You have that sense of loss that, you know, I mean, I wanted to go play football.
Right.
I wanted to be a professional athlete.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to college. That was my way out. I grew up poor, man. I went to college for a little bit after high school, and, you know, it just wasn't for me. I wish I would have stuck it out and worked through it. It was tough. And I decided to just keep working for a living. And I'm in the grocery industry, and I've been doing it for going on 30 years. And, you know, it's good living. I'm in a management position. You know, I run a team of, you know, a total of like 15 people. So, I mean, I've done pretty well. And, but you know, when you have your injury, I'm sure a lot of you guys all went through it too, where you go through self-doubt, you go through depression, you have your ups and downs with, you know, anger issues, frustration.
Every day.
Just curious of what everybody went through, you know, when they had their injuries.
Oh,
I think that I'm sorry. I think that after the depression, then you start dealing with anxiety.
Yep.
Well, I have adrenal insufficiency from my brain injury, central adrenal insufficiency, which is a big deal. Low cortisol, low aldosterone, and those hormones affect, you know, I have symptoms like weakness and, you know, just a lot of symptoms from it. And I didn't know at first that it was adrenal insufficiency. So anyways.
You know, when you talked about the topic, Michael, of the show, you know, this is what people, your family members and friends don't really understand, you know, what's going on internally. And on the surface, you're still walking and talking and running and exercising and functioning at a high level, but they don't really know what's going down deep inside.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't need anybody feeling sorry for me. I just want people to understand that, hey, look, I don't particularly think on your level, but I'm also not, you know, able to think.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I suffer with symptoms.
I'm very capable. It's just that, but differently.
Yeah.
Right. I find that
Go ahead.
A lot of the times that if they would just like cars to fix their car, I can fix it, but I can't do it, but I can tell you how. But if you don't, because I can't do it physically, right away they think I have no idea what I'm talking about. And then the frustration sets in.
Well, the thing that frustrated me the most is I get really, even at almost 47 years old, and I know how people are, and I should know better even at my age, I still get frustrated when people try to make me feel stupid. And, you know, that to me, that's the biggest challenge, is to, you know, find the right words. Instead of using this to fight with, you want to use this up here. And it's a struggle daily for me, because it's sometimes you're dealing with people and you get angry or you get frustrated because you don't have the right words. I lack the vocabulary needed to be able to fight intellectually at times. And sometimes I just have to pull myself out of a situation. And it's best to just walk away and gather your thoughts and take your time, because after the situation, you're like, oh, why did I think of that at the time? You know, I mean, I'm sure most people who've never had a brain injury go through the same thing too, but we're a little bit more susceptible to it. Plus, if brain injuries tend to make you more exhausted than, you know, because we're having to think harder. It's like when I brought up that analogy earlier about the ring of keys and going through the doors. Our thought process is so labor intensive. This is what people don't understand in our core group around us.
Tired.
What's that?
Just, it makes us so tired having to think and, you know,
do
it. It takes so much more energy for us as brain injury survivors than it does for the guy down the road. You know what I mean? So for us, it takes a shitload more energy, in my feeling, for me, and anyway, it takes so much more effort to do and get it out to the world, etc. And
this is the problem with between cancer. When we talked about cancer and brain injuries, is that with cancer you can actually see on the surface people are dying and they're withering away, they're sick. Mm-hmm. With brain injury, with people with brain injury survivors, you don't see that. You don't know what's going on inside, so it's hard for people to really understand unless they've been through it or had a child or somebody close to them go through it. They haven't lived it. They don't understand that this body that we're living in is the vehicle that keeps us moving forward every day, keeps us going every day. When it has a challenge, and the main part of it is up here, you know, think of it as a vehicle. If there's something wrong with the brain of your car, it doesn't function properly. You know, especially a new vehicle today. We're very much like a vehicle, especially today's standards. Everything's run by that computer on a car. If something goes out on that computer, that car doesn't operate efficiently. And it's one of those things where without the brain, the car doesn't function, same as the body.
Well, that's because we're American made.
Yeah, your cries suck.
It's like I have symptoms day and night all the time, and then when family doesn't understand, on top of the symptoms, it makes everything 10,000 times worse.
Oh yeah, completely. And that's even with our families. You know, imagine what it's like for, you know, potential employers, potential, you know, people that are needing your services, etc. That's, do you know what I mean? That's another big issue that you find is, you know, like this is, you know, like I'm lucky I work in a field that I deal with people with disabilities every day, which, you know, I'm really fortunate to have that. But, you know, I couldn't do a manual physical job anymore because my body just wouldn't let it happen. I couldn't go and, you know, work as a plumber, for example, anymore because physically I just can't do it. It'd kill me. I used to be a plumber. I left school when I was 16, did a plumbing apprenticeship, and then decided, no, this isn't for me. Finished my apprenticeship and then went straight into uni into disability and got a BA in disability at university. So, well, that's what, you know, that's why now I can, you know, I can talk the talk as well as walk the walk, as you could sort of see.
I don't need anybody feeling sorry for me, and I've never needed anybody feeling sorry for me. I needed somebody to understand me, you know, try to understand what we go through every day. People need to have, you know, and in brain injury awareness groups like this or like the ones that I have locally, it's always good to bring a family member or a friend to actually sit in on those groups and really understand what people deal with on a daily basis. Because then it might open their eyes a little bit more to what we have to deal with every day. Why we're so tired. Why we have a hard time getting the words across that we need. This is where
we crack the shits over the stupidest things and get frustrated over the stupidest things, you know?
Well, exactly. And,
time.
And I don't think there's enough emphasis in society globally. You know, I mean, look, globally for that. I don't think there's enough out there. As much as we try, you know, what it's going to take is. Remember when Liam Neeson's wife passed away? She was in a skiing accident. We're talking about skiing earlier. Liam Neeson, his wife died. She fell and hit the back of her head. Yeah. And we talked about that in one of our groups, that when she died, we thought we were going to get a big push, a celebrity push because of it. You know, one of the biggest celebrities locally that passed away in my town was Michael. Are you a football fan? Do you watch football, American football?
Yeah. I love American football.
So for me, Junior Seau was big because not only was he a San Diego native like me, he was 2 years older than I was. The year I got hurt playing football, I was a sophomore in high school. Junior was a senior. My high school went to the playoffs. We went and played Oceanside High where Junior was playing, and I was already injured. I was supposed to go to that game because I was still recovering. Juniors destroyed our team. Destroyed our team. And obviously I followed his career all the way through. You know, I didn't watch him in college, but obviously we played for the Chargers for so many years, and then New England and Miami. And then up until his death, you know, Junior, you know, he had CTE. And from all the brutal hits to his head for so many years. And even though Junior functioned at a high level, you see him in interviews, you see him out there on the field. He played the game for 3 years of college and 4 years of high school. He played the game for 27 years or so because he got out. I don't think he graduated USC. I think he got out a year before he was supposed to graduate, like a lot of these athletes do.
Yeah.
So 27 years of pounding, and the man was still speaking with great speech, but he dealt with a lot of mental issues because of all the beatings he took. Well, you can't see that.
Right.
So what happens? I mean, he goes, you know, he has a few kids. Marriage falls apart like a lot of people, and has a girlfriend, you know, a young girlfriend. He tries to off himself by driving off a cliff. I don't know if you guys heard about that. And then, because it was in the news all over the place, but at least locally it was. And then he kills himself, and he shoots himself in the chest.
Yeah.
He shot himself in the chest, I think was a signal for them to check his brain out and look at his brain. And the family finally okayed the autopsy, and they found that he had CTE. His brain was pretty bad off. We can function at a very high level, but you look at the surface and people just don't know what's going on in here. It must have been a daily struggle for that man to just get up every day out of bed, every day. 20 plus years playing football. I mean, I don't know how he did it, honestly. His ex-wife said he must have had about 1,500 concussions.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's the same as the Australian rules footballers that
the rugby.
I actually know a fair few Aussie rules footballers that, you know, they don't wear helmets. They don't wear. They are hardcore. You know.
Yes, sir.
Fit as all buggery. You know, and they are now doing all these studies on the amount of concussions and brain injuries that these guys have all had now, and now are figuring out that the amount of turmoil that their brains are actually gone through. Like, I went out for lunch with Anthony Rocker. He went over as a kicker for one of the American football teams. I don't know if you know of Rocker. He was an Australian guy.
No, but we had one on the Chargers. Darren Bennett. Darren Bennett played for us.
Yeah. Well, Anthony Rocco played a heap of games in the NFL as well as a kicker, and I was out to lunch with him, and we were talking about this same issue about the amount of concussions he's had over the years of playing AFL football. And he said that he's worried that he's going to have a stroke or an aneurysm or something like that in the near future. And then, you know, who's going to look after his family, his kids? You know, he's had a really successful AFL career, and then he had a really successful NFL career. And he's worried about what's going to happen, you know, when he ends up with a brain aneurysm or a stroke or whatever as well. And, you know, that's just one of the AFL footballers. Like, these guys are as fit as, and they are as tough as nails.
Yes, they are.
They don't wear any pads. They don't wear any, you know, there's no helmets, nothing like that. When they get hit in the head, they get really badly hit in the head. I mean it. Now, I reckon in the next 10 years, they're going to have to do something, because I guarantee in the next 10 years, there's going to be such a massive outcry of brain-injured AFL footballers.
Yes, I watched it a lot when I was a kid. It was on the sports channels when I was a kid on cable growing up. It's a great sport. My son actually played it for a little bit. I'm here here, and we have it here in the States. It's big down here, and it's the Australian rules football is pretty awesome to watch live.
Yeah,
They play careful. They hit hard, but they know how to hit. They learn how to tackle. They learn how to do all. But you know what? We're people. Accidents are going to happen. You're going to hit heads. You're going to, it's just
every match. There's at least one or two players that have got a concussion at the end of the game. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure in the next 10 years, there's going to be a massive lawsuit whereby all these AFL footballers are going to come out and go, fuck, well, I played AFL football for all these years. Now I've got major brain damage. I can't function. I've had 2 strokes. I've had, a bunch of brain injury things. And now, can you now compensate me? So
that's happening now. That's happening now in the NFL, Adam. That's been happening for the last quite a few years in the NFL.
Yeah, but the concussion movie.
Yeah, with Will Smith. Will Smith.
That's what started
That was
everything.
a great movie.
Oh, yeah.
And then what's going to happen is a movie like that will wind up in Australia, and that's when it'll happen.
Yeah.
That's when things start happening.
Mm-hmm.
So Michael, when you were talking about functioning at a higher level, I feel like I'm only functioning at a higher level because I'm forced to play the part because family wouldn't accept it. I couldn't talk about my brain injury. You know what I'm saying?
You know, that kind of makes me feel really sad because I had a lot of support from my family. I hear this from a lot of people that they felt like they weren't getting support. I'm like, how can you not support somebody that has an injury?
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. That's why I had to function at a level that I wasn't able to, but I had to because they didn't understand, which forced me to have to do things that I couldn't do. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Even though I couldn't have done them, I had to do them because they didn't understand to help me in that area. So that made me do the things.
Well, I think what should happen now is they should develop programs for people who, and I think probably have them, is they get the families involved when somebody does have a brain injury, and they include a family member or family members in the recovery process, so that way they can learn together and help.
Yeah.
And I don't think there was enough of that with me. I went through all the rehabs in the hospital, all the surgeries, all the rehabs, and I was determined. I was not going to be in that hospital bed for long. I wasn't going to be in that wheelchair for long. I wasn't going to be in that walker for long. Every step that I did, I pushed myself harder and harder and harder. And it was tough because nobody really understood it, but my family was protective of me. They were real protective of me, and they looked out for me. My mother, my grandmother. I was raised by women. There was no father in the house, so it was like one of those deals where, I didn't have that father figure around to support me and to help me rehabilitate. Take me out to the park and run me or exercise me or anything like that. I was doing it all myself. When I got home from my injury, I was like I said, I was skinny. I was walking again. And now the hard part came where I had to start building myself back up again. And I took my shirt off and looked at myself in the mirror. I was freaked out how skinny I was because I hadn't seen myself in the mirror. At the hospital I did when I was in rehab a little bit, but I never saw myself with no clothes on. And I was like a skeleton. I looked like an Ethiopian. I couldn't believe it. So I had to build all my muscle back up. And this is a 15-year-old kid. I mean, I was fast. I was strong. And so it took me a while to build all that. So you're going through all that emotion because you're dealing with a huge sense of loss. People around you could see that, but they don't really feel it. They don't really understand. They can see you from they see you on the surface. but they don't see what's going on inside. And so
We haven't been through those type of feelings that we have to go through when people don't understand and how it hurts you and breaks you because you just want someone to understand. They don't actually go through that, you know.
Unless they've gone through it themselves, they don't really 100% understand what you're going through.
Right.
But
Yeah.
if they're compassionate enough and they can see the change in you as a person, they'll say, well, you know, this was the old Mike, or this was, you know, this was how he was before, but now he's different. I didn't change much in personality wise. I didn't change hardly at all. Emotionally, you know, I think I was pretty much the same. I pretty much had a full recovery. But there are some things there, you know, obviously I was more depressed more after my injury, and I had that sense of regret and that sense of like, well, if I didn't do this, you know, then I would have been here or there or wherever, you know. And for a while I look back on that and I'm going, you know, the chances of me playing in college or playing in the NFL were pretty slim, even though I played hard. But, you know, it would have been nice to see what would have happened. You know what I mean? So, whatever.
I think of that every day because, like, before I had my brain aneurysm, right, at the age of 11, I was dancing with the Australian Ballet. I was skiing with the Institute of Sport. I was playing, like, CBA basketball, which is, like, the highest level basketball that you could play in Australia at that stage. I was doing everything I was an A-grade student. I was at the top of my game, and then all of a sudden, I lost everything. I had a brain aneurysm explode in my head, and that was it. And then I ended up having to relearn who I was, who my parents were. I didn't even know who they were. I had to learn how to walk, talk, read, write, everything again after being in a coma for months and months and months as well. You know, so in that respect, it was a pretty gnarly thing for me as well. So, yeah, I totally get where everyone's coming from there.
So you totally lose your sense of self, and then what you had planned for the future or whatever, you totally changed.
It was all gone, yeah.
It's devastating.
Well, you know what? I can tell you guys all this honestly. You didn't lose everything. I mean, look at you sitting on this call right now. Look at what everybody's accomplished. Look at what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
You make a new path for yourself. It may not be the path that you chose at the beginning, but you know, I mean, look, I mean, I'm married. I got 2 kids. I got a great house. I got cars. We got money in the bank. I'm working every day. You know, I think I make an impact on people's lives. I mean, the grocery industry wasn't an industry I planned on being in for 30 years, 29 years, you know, and it was something that I just end up staying in. But, you know, it's like every day I feel like I make an impact on somebody in a positive way. So like, I have a lot to be thankful for. And, you know, this is my first time on the call with all of you, but this isn't my first go around with Brain Injury Awareness Group and talking about this. And it's a wonderful experience to be able to talk to others that have gone through it and how they've challenged themselves. Look, man, you know, we all have challenges in life and we all have paths to follow. And just because one path got shut down, that doesn't mean that we can't go down another path and try to improve our lives. So the way I look at it is if you're not buried and you're on your own 2 feet and you're able to talk and walk, it doesn't get any better than that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. Absolutely.
What would life be without challenges? You know?
I've learned a lot. I mean, I've gained a lot of positive things, like I love just like understanding other people. Like if someone writes me, I write them back right away. If someone calls me, I call them back right away. Just because of the loneliness that I've experienced and not having people there, you know, it's made me a better friend to other people.
That's the toughest part, though. That is the toughest part, is being alone.
Yeah, but to me, that's what matters in life, is loving other people, and you know, so that's a positive that I'm able to understand. And
how fuzzy is this, right? A sausage and bread, man. How's that?
I want some.
And it's got
delicious.
Onion and this is lunch. Onion and tomato sauce, or you call ketchup.
Ketchup. Oh, I love ketchup. I eat ketchup on everything. I just said ketchup and green beans. That looks good. Did your son make that?
Yes.
That's nice.
Pretty good. Yeah, he's pretty handy.
So what I'm trying to say is the things that I've lost emotionally, I try to give to other people because I know how much it broke my heart, and I don't want to hurt somebody else's feelings. Like mine was hurt when I needed something.
So my whole point to the whole thing, that my ADD rant, was basically, I don't want you feeling sorry for me. You know what I mean? But I want you to understand that, just because I don't think on your level, supposedly, it doesn't mean I'm not intelligent. It doesn't mean I'm not intelligent. I can't think for myself. It just means that maybe I need a little extra time, or maybe I need a little extra help in this area. Maybe I need you to explain things to me a little bit differently, so that way I get so the light bulb comes on, because obviously we process things differently than the norm. And it doesn't mean we can't process and function highly. It just means that, well, now I understand things a little bit differently than I did before. And it's going to take me a little while to get acclimated to the conversation that you and I are having. So in order for me to understand, maybe we need to come at each other differently. And that's where frustration tends to kick in for us, is that, we're trying to communicate, but it's a difficult challenge for us on a daily basis. And for me, I think it's been great working in retail and working in the retail industry, because I'm around people all day long. So I get that stimulation. And I'm a manager. I'm a produce manager. So as we speak, and it's like, I have to deal with my team. I have to constantly babysit, adults. And I think that it's a challenge for me every day to be able to come up with the words to tell them, what I need from them. And I do a lot of talking, and I do talk to my people, and I challenge them, because if I don't come at them in a motivational way, our workload and what we have to do on a daily basis is going to be, a mess. I have to not only organize myself, but I have to organize my team and how I want them to approach getting their jobs done. So for me, it's been a great ride, because I've had these challenges and I've taken on these roles that were really hugely challenging for me, and I've been able to be successful at them. Now, not the pinnacle of where I could be, but I find myself getting by. I don't always feel like I know everything. I feel like every day is a challenge for me to do what I do best. So that being said, it's good to have challenges, because you learn how to improve in areas where you're weak.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
I agree.
Yeah. It's just the matter of the constant challenge of doing everything for ABI as survivor is always that little bit more difficult. That's what I've found.
Does anybody have vision problems?
Vision?
I do.
Yeah, I do.
I've just got glasses. Yeah.
And as far as like the bright lights and the sun bothering.
Oh no, not me. No.
I do.
So you just
Yeah.
mine's really bad.
I have to wear sunglasses out.
Me too. And even inside, I have to set lights at certain areas so that it doesn't scare me, because things look so distorted and bright.
Right.
Not normal. But we all learn how to deal and help ourselves.
You learn to adapt.
Yeah.
That's it.
Be as content as possible and happy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to love you and leave you guys. It's been a pleasure speaking with you all, and I've just got to get going, get organized, get my son dressed, and off we go.
Look me up, Adam. Look me up, dude.
Yeah. You also check my Facebook page, Adam B Mate, or Adam mate's my normal page. You can't forget mate. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
As in, good day, mate.
All fun.
Yeah. So everyone, yeah, please check out my other Facebook page, which I do motivational speaking and stuff on. That's Adam B Mate. And then my normal page is Adam Mate.
All right.
M8.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Well, I look forward to hearing from you and chatting with you guys soon.
All
All right, Adam.
Good man.
Thank you.
Have a good day, guys, or good night for you anyway.
Man.
Yeah, right.
Good
Thank
day.
All right.
you.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
I have my charger back.
Yeah. Hang on, mate. Hang on.
That kid was adorable.
Oh, I love that
He
kid.
was
He's
awesome.
very cool too.
Oh, wow.
And he was definitely loved, you could tell. And
It was
think,
adorable.
If you guys want to, I was telling Henry before in the chat, my head's killing me. It's the sinuses. They're like
oh,
just hurting so bad.
sorry.
So I appreciate you guys joining the call. If you don't mind, we can cut it short tonight unless there's something
Sure.
else.
Yeah,
Had a
sure.
good discussion, Michael. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
All right.
you, Michael.
Good night, everybody.
Hopefully we'll all talk on Tuesdays rather.
Say.
We all keep in touch.
Sounds good.
Michael's
Okay,
the
good
new
night,
guy.
guys.
Okay.
Everybody take care.
All right, bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye, Susan. Bye,
Good
Michael.
meeting
Bye,
everybody.
Michael. Good meeting you
Thank
too.
you.
Bye, Henry.